Craig is
Craig!
reporting now.
Craig is
Oh,
here.
Craig is here. Craig is here. All right, everybody. Welcome back to yet another episode of Rules, Jewels, D&D Schools. Normal cast
How many
today.
schools are in your jewels? What's up?
Yeah, hey, whoo. No special
What's
guest
happening?
today. Normal crew. We're going to talk about maybe a little later than everyone else. We're going to talk about the One DnD playtest material. We had Spelljammer stuff to be sad about, but now we're getting around to it. One DnD. I don't think we're gonna go ahead.
I feel like the first thing we have to talk about is, do we like the name One DnD?
1D.
One DnD to bring them all, and in the darkness find them.
You know what I feel like it would have been called in the past?
D&D 5.5.
5.5. Yeah. Baby, this is the most 5.5 release I've ever read. This is the most 0.5 release I've ever read.
They were like,
This is
it's not a new edition. It's just an expanded 5E. And it was like 5.5 then?
5.5?
Just call
Nah,
it what
dude.
it is. Come on now.
It's one D&D, my guys. We are uniting us all under
I feel
one
like it would
banner.
be better as. I feel like it would be sounds better as D&D 1 also.
Yeah,
One
that does sound
D&D
better.
is-
Yeah.
D&D
Or
1.
just like say screw it, just call it D&D.
Just D&D. Yeah, no
Just be
addition.
like, this is it. This is what we're gonna do. We'll update this, keep updating it, whatever. But
I think like,
come on now.
hey, you know what? Beta test, right?
I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're like, no more editions, but they're going to be more editions.
There's going to be more editions.
Like,
Yeah.
Even if the people that are there right now don't change their mind and don't make any additions, those people that are there now are not going to be there forever. And the next people are going to be like, we're making a new edition.
We're making it. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Once J. Craw retires.
Yeah.
So I think let's get all the stuff we don't like out of the way at the beginning so we can have a nice trail off of good things. One is One DnD. Maybe think about rebranding a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just call it. I don't care. I don't really. That's not honestly something I thought about when I was reading the document. I was just like, oh yeah, One DnD. Okay, yep, it's One DnD. It's One DnD to rule them all.
Yeah.
There's going to be a TV show on Amazon in 3 years. I'm going to spend $10 billion on it.
Yep.
Anyways,
and this isn't the whole thing. This is a very short, just thing about character origins. They're going to release a whole new PHB. They're going to release a whole new DMG. They're going to release a whole new monster manual.
Yeah.
New things to learn. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if you've had a chance to like read the whole document. It's not enough different that you're going to have to learn a lot.
Yeah, it's designed to be completely backwards compatible with 5e.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is a good move for them.
Yeah, it better
be.
be. Popular, like, oh, we have 10 years of books that are still
never
coming
been.
out.
Well, they did that with you say that, Joe, but they did. So 3.5 was huge. And then they were like, check it out. 4E. We're going to go hard. 4E. It's completely different. And everyone that was like, I don't know if I like this. And they were like, how about a book a month? Book. Another new book. Another new book. I had a friend who bought them all when we were playing. Dude had a stack of 4E books. And then like, it wasn't around that long before they were like, yeah, so scrap that shit. Good job paying hundreds of dollars. Here's 5e. We're not doing a 0.5 because no one liked this shit anyways, except for me, apparently. I thought 4e was fine. But let's talk about some grievances. What grievances do you have other than the one I told you about? Do you have any grievances, Isaac?
Yeah, I have a few things. I'm skipping. I have to skip around the document to get to all of them. The first off, I mean, the natural. They're changing right now. I hope this is the one. The things that does
this
not.
This is the one that we cross over. This is the one major.
This is the one that nobody likes.
Yeah.
Making nat 20s. First off, they only double the weapon die.
Yeah.
Second, that means that spells can't crit.
Yep.
And also that, I mean, also the same thing there, sneak attack can't crit.
Yep.
And They also made it to where monsters cannot crit.
I don't.
I don't mind monsters not being able to crit.
Looks around. Here's the thing. I don't like anything about this. And I don't like anything about this for like one specific reason. In person, and even online, a natural 20 is just fun. It's just fun. A 20 rolls and everyone goes, natural 20, yes, I'm the best ever. Natural 20, I hit the crap out of this guy, or I investigated the shit out of this. You know what I mean? Like, everyone loves a nat 20. And taking that away from casters and the DM and all this other stuff, it's like, so what's the logic here? Taking it away from monsters, I suppose, is to make it to where people don't die so like, oh crap, a monster got a natural 20 and they do 30 damage to you. In a way, I understand that, but like, why take it away from casters? Why take it away from sneak attack? Why take it away from all these other things, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's just to homogenize everything to where it make it a little, like, I guess, easier to balance, but it takes out the fun.
Let's flatten this thing.
It's not worth it.
Let's crush the highs and lows into one middle ground where we all live forever.
Yeah, it's just like compressing audio to make it just a sausage.
Just a sausage, yeah. Just a sausage of a waveform. No peaks, no lows, just like I mean, you don't want any lows in your tabletop RPG, to be fair, but like get rid of this. The high, the fun high of a nat 20 is something they shouldn't mess with.
And the excitement of it as like we're really down and out, we're about to die. Boom, and nat 20 turns the tables.
Yeah. It's the best thing ever.
Like, why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah. Why would you
down and
want
out?
That?
A monster rolls a natural 20.
Yeah, you're dead. You were dead anyways. It's just dead in a more spectacular way.
See, here's the thing. Hey, all you need is every party needs a cleric of the grave or whatever.
Yep. That's all.
So no nat 20s. You know what
I don't think,
or just DMs give your players adamantine armor.
Yeah.
just let them have it. It'll be
silvery
all right.
barbs. Everyone has silvery barbs.
Yep.
Built in.
So the other thing that I don't like that they changed about natural 20s and natural ones is that they're making it auto success on any attack, any D20 test, which is an attack, saving throw, or an ability check.
Yeah.
I do like the way that they combined all three into D20 test. That's nice.
Yeah.
But
that's nice.
Having, and I also like it on saving throws. I like it there that it's an auto success if you roll a natural 20 or an auto loss, auto failure if you roll a natural 1. I like that on saving throws. I do not like it on on ability checks because there's whenever I DM stuff and there's like an insight check or a perception check, there are degrees of success.
Yeah.
Right? So if you roll, and there's also just things that are impossible. Like I want to run up this wall. Are you a monk? No, I just want to run up this wall.
But it does say,
and he's like, I'm making an athletics check. Like, what? Okay, and then natural 20. Oh, I guess somehow you ran up the wall.
But I think it does actually say something about that, doesn't it?
I didn't
says
see
like
it.
within reason kind of thing. What page is it on? Since I like read this an hour ago. And you're looking at it currently, right?
Critical hits. Rolling a 20. It's on page 19.
Let me get there. Page 19. Critical hits.
Doesn't bypass limitations on the test, such as range and line of sight.
Okay, but I mean, like, it doesn't say it here, but just like a lot of other DM like things, you could extrapolate that out too. Yeah, you might have rolled a 20, but you still can't run 100 feet up a wall.
Sure, but why put it in there at all?
But also the character.
Like, I feel like DMs were already taking care of that.
True. I mean, not always. You just haven't been a part of that group, my guy.
I guess.
But aren't those things clearly defined in the character class? Like they clearly can't run them that far up a wall, even if it says they can run up a wall.
Yeah, I think in that instance that'd just be where you go. You can't do that.
Yeah, the character rule supersedes the general rule. Is that how D&D handles it? I think so. That's how a
I don't
lot
know,
of
but
games
it's just
handle it.
like I don't feel like that needs to be in there at all. Any
Okay.
DM should be able to figure out whether a thing is possible or not.
Well, it's
And
just
then,
like,
and then I want to try to run up that. Also, I don't want to be like, no, don't roll for that. And be like, I want to say you can certainly try. And then if they roll in at 20, be like, you run up it and you do a backflip. You do not make it up there, but you do a spectacular backflip off the wall.
yeah. I don't think a lot of players, especially more veteran players, are trying to do that kind of crazy crap.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
I just
feel
feel
like
like it's unnecessary to
I
put
feel
that
like
in.
I only try to pull off things that I think could be pulled off. I don't try to
Also, like if you're trying to there's a Critical Role example where one of their players is trying to like decrypt this book that's written in a code,
Mhm,
and it has a DC, like a set DC to do this, right?
mhm.
And it's like say 30, and the
Okay.
guy rolls a natural 20, and it comes to 29. That's can't do it yet. You need something else. You need either another level or like bardic inspiration or some. You're not there yet.
Here's the thing, I half agree with you on this. So, like, if there's a cryptic puzzle and the DC is a 30 unless you have a key, and they don't have the key and they fail, sure. But if it's just like a raw skill check, there's nothing else to it, right? It's just like, can you solve this thing? A 20 is kind of like those. You ever have a day where you're just nailing stuff, right? Some days, if you can definitely be more creative or get more done, or like push beyond what you're normally capable of, like occasionally, right? In like a moment of clarity. I don't
Sure.
necessarily think that, like, if you roll a nat 20 on that specific check at that specific moment and you've been rolling dice all night or whatever, like, I'm okay with that. Even if I was DMing and I was like, this is gonna be a hard check, boys. And Jingo Bing Bomb rolls his nat 20 on the cryptic decoding test. I'm gonna be like, Jingo Bing Bomb had a freaking, like,
That's a neat.
inspiration from God that let him decrypt this. There could be any reason, but that actually doesn't bother me. The physical limitation stuff, I understand. Like, if they need to, climb Mount Fuji and the monk's like, I'm gonna jump the whole thing in one bound with my magical key jump. I'm gonna be like, that's just not gonna happen. You can roll, but I'm not gonna let you have it. And if they get a 20, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, you channeled the key of all monks in the universe to be able to make this jump. I'm not into that, but
Okay,
if
well, how
you're
do you feel about if we're back on the decoding thing,
yeah,
and you got the wizard of your party whose intelligence maybe not 20, but it's the highest in the group. He's
yeah,
obviously the guy who's the smart guy. He rolls a 19, gets a 29, doesn't quite make it.
yeah.
Then you got Dumbo the barbarian with an intelligence of 7. He's like, well, let me try. Rolls a natural 20 for a total of 15. You're like, oh, you got it.
Let,
I think
let me
I think that's a moment where right out of the gate you go, your intelligence is 7. You don't even understand how to read it. No check.
also
But you get the point though, like, right? If someone
let
with a
me
lower intelligence happens to roll a
let me
natural 20.
let me explain this away for you. Right,
Okay, I'm listening.
wizard he's within an inch of solving this thing. He's like, dang it, I just can't get it. And Dumbo McDummerson, the freaking barbarian, walks up. He goes, let me try. And he just clicks it in the right direction. He doesn't even think about it, right? He just moves it that extra inch. And that's what the wizard was missing. Boom, it's solved. And then it's a collaborative effort between the two,
I still
right?
hate it.
You sell it as that.
I still
because
hate it.
no matter how hard a puzzle is, someone can solve it by dumb luck eventually, right? If a monkey had the world's most complicated puzzle and you could get him to do it over and over and over again, I'm sure eventually it's a monkey typewriter thing. It's a monkey typewriter.
Yeah, I always heard the monkey typewriter thing, but I don't think that the monkey typewriter thing would ever actually happen.
No,
If 1,000 monkeys with typewriters, eventually one of them's going to write Shakespeare. No, that's not how it works, actually.
but enough people with a base level of intelligence to be able to type. If you had them typing all day, every day, eventually someone's going to write something good.
Well, sure. I mean, that's subjective. Someone can be like, I like this.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it's too unreasonable 90% of the time. Maybe there is like, if it is like the key piece to defeat Lord Gigarax, the god of killing all things on Earth or whatever, and you just have to make this
title.
You just have to make this one check, and it's like a speed puzzle, and the slow dumb guy beats it with a natural 20. I'd be like, okay, no.
I can see what you're saying if it's like if it's the kind of thing that it's like, if you don't pass it right now, you're never going to get another chance. But if this is the kind of thing that you take this book with you that you can try to decode for the next however many months, then I'm going to say you need.
That's an individual call, though. I feel like that's not
That's
not even necessary. That's not even necessarily like a rules thing. Like, even if you were planning on it to last 6 months and someone just rolled incredibly and knocked it out in one go, that's going to feel equally as bad as if someone knocks it out with a natural 20.
Well, if I was planning on having it last a certain amount of time, then I would say you're going to need so many successful checks over this course of time.
Yeah.
But if it's just like you need one successful check, it doesn't matter when you do it, then I would say the DC is this, and you have to hit that, whether it's a natural 20 or not. But that's different DMs are going to rule that differently, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the big one. The 20 thing is the big one. The 20 taking away from some things, adding it to other things. That's the only really complaint I have. I honestly think the rest of it
like that. I like it. Natural 20s.
I like it.
Succeeding.
I like it too. I'm more in your camp than I am with Isaac, but I can see where he's coming from. But
I think you could have a lot of fun in those aspects of, like, especially like you need a dexterous road to like look for a trap or something, or find the right path to walk through so you don't set off any traps. And he's like not figuring out, and then your big dumb barbarian walks up and goes, "Let me try," and he trips and stumbles and happens to walk on the right path.
Yeah.
Like, it's like dumb luck.
That's a good moment. That's a good moment for the story as well, right? I'm not necessarily in the camp of it being full bad, but I do understand where you're coming from.
I don't like it. I'm not saying that the barbarian like can't do that, but maybe he can't do that sometimes. Like if it's a lower DC and the rogue just is rolling bad, and then the barbarian comes in and does it, that's great. But if it's a super high DC and the rogue can't figure it out, then I don't like the idea of a barbarian figuring it out.
I think you're stuck on the intelligence thing, because like it might be a dexterous task to like find out where to go. But while a wizard might not be able to do the path on his own, he could be like, my intelligence says you should take this path. And then like that might be right. And you wouldn't think too much about that. I think are you getting stuck on the fact that he's an idiot?
No, just like I'm trying to reconcile the fact that there are players who make their characters have a really good stat, and that's going to be their thing. Like, this is the thing I want to do well, right? And then they're like, okay, give me that thing because that's the thing I do well. And you're like, oh, I can't quite get there. And then the guy who just happens along rolls a d20 and hits a 20, and he's like, oh, I figured it out. And you're like, oh, great. I think made this character really good at this.
I think that kind of thing is the same thing as dying, right? Sometimes it just is what it is, and you got to accept it happening. You know what I mean? Like, nobody likes character death, but it's part of the game. Your super intelligent wizard might not like the fact that Dingle McBing Bong figured out the thing before you did, but that's life, dude.
I don't know. I think that's where you could have like those like funny movie moments where the wizard's trying to figure everything out and can't figure it out, and then the big dumb idiot comes over and goes, "Let me see it," and holds it a certain way.
Smashes it against the wall.
holds a cipher a certain way, and the wizard looks over at it and glances and goes, "Holy crap!"
Yeah, it's like what I was saying.
That's it. And then it's like that movie moment of, Grog, you big idiot, you figured it out.
Yeah. You can spin it in a way that makes it thematically good for the moment. But overall, I don't think they should take any 20 away from anything.
No.
20 should be good no matter what.
20s are the sacred.
Whether you're throwing a firebolt or hitting someone with a sword or shooting someone with a bow, a 20 is a 20, baby. Leave it that way. Stop fucking with it. You don't need to fuck with it. It works good. If you want to pick one thing in 5e that works good, it's that. Don't fuck with it.
Everybody's favorite thing. Leave it alone.
It's everybody's favorite thing. Don't fuck with it.
The only thing they should even consider adding to D20 if you like crit on something is a freaking crit chart so we can see what happens.
A good crit chart.
A good crit
I would
chart.
also like our homebrew ruling on Friday where people can critically fail checks. I really like that. Like if someone rolls a 1 on a dex for a fireball, they'd be taking some extra damage, and I really like that. I really like that a lot.
Yeah,
because I had some awesome moments in some of the campaigns.
I go back
and a real crushing one when you blow yourself up with a natural one.
Yeah, I blew myself up. I totally killed myself with that same thing. But I've also had really sick, awesome moments from someone rolling a 1 and being like, "All right, you did
that was
140
the moment
damage."
where you like took out an army coming at us because like half of them rolled nat ones on the first fireball, and then they all failed the second one.
Yep, I killed like an entire platoon of people coming to attack us with a couple of fireballs because they just rolled like hot garbage. Anyways,
there was like 20 guys and like 7 rolled nat ones on the first one.
So just like 7 dudes just like vaporized in the first blast.
We were like, this is going to be a rough fight. We did not have to fight one.
Yeah, they didn't even make it. They didn't even make it to us.
It's like, man, magic is really strong.
Occasionally. Sometimes it really backfires on you. But anyways, that's my only complaint. Now we can talk about all the good things. I think a lot of the good things that are added to this.
Yeah, we can start. I mean, we feel like we should talk about just the things that they're trying to do. Which starting from the top is they're changing it to where races, you don't get your ability score improvements from races. They're going to switch that to backgrounds, which makes sense to me. I like that.
I like that a lot. Yep.
You can, and the way they're doing backgrounds is you can customize them. So you can be like, I want to be a farmer, but I want my ability score increases to be 2 here and 1 here. And then you get to choose your skill proficiencies, 2 of them. You get to choose a tool proficiency and a language and a feat, which is a
level
big
1
deal.
feat, a first level feat.
Yeah, and to clarify, they're changing the feats to have level requirements. So level 1.
So there's, I have a few things to say about this.
Okay.
Overall, I really like it. This direction that they're going in is freedom, and I think that's great. As much as I like to min-max and do all that kind of shit, I don't want to always have to play an elf because it's the most optimal thing for this exact build that I'm doing. I want to be able to play whatever race I want. The first level feats, having level requirements for feats, I have a mixed feeling on that. First level feats, that makes sense. These are the feats you can take at level 1 as part of a background. I understand that. But like the rest of them, just be allowed to get them whenever. Most campaigns don't go past a certain level anyways. But the rest of that I love. And the direction that this whole thing is moving is like freedom to do what you want, freedom to build the character you want, freedom to be the race you want, freedom to have the background you want, where you're like, well, I'm a badass fighter guy from the army, but I have a background in charlatan because that had the exact skills that I wanted. And you know what I mean? Like it's stuff that just doesn't make sense. I was a hermit until I decided to be an adventurer because it has the exact stuff I needed. That kind of stuff always kind of annoyed me. So I'm great. I'm in. I'm all in. I'm on board with the like build your own background, build your own race. Or if you want to be an elf that's super mega buff and he's got a +2 strength, that's fine. You know what I mean? You don't have to play a Goliath or a Minotaur or a myriad of these other strong things to be a big barbarian. Because ostensibly what stops an elf from like hitting the gym, you know, you're like a 5-foot wood elf that just like is jacked, and that's fine. Or you could be an orc who's kind of lanky and cast spells, or you could be anything. I like that a lot. I don't like Ardlings that much. That's the only thing that they really added new race-wise. Because I felt like they went, people like all those animal folk classes. Let's make one thing that just covers everything. Just make a base. Just go animal folk. And then you can pick what kind of animal it is, and that's the end of it.
It seems weird that they've decided to like
Make
combine
it angel-y.
Yeah.
Like, why did it need to be?
I hope that means they're not. I hope that doesn't mean that they're getting rid of the
Aasimar.
Yeah, because the Aasimar
I don't think they will. Yeah, yeah, totally. My thing with this is like, people want animal folk, they want bear folk, they want turtle folk, they want lizard folk, like in the old editions that they had. Just make a folk, animal folk base. Choose any animal you want. Choose how it looks. That's endless customization. You want to be a 7-foot tall bear? Sick. You want to be a 6-foot tall turtle man or lizard man? Sick. You want to be a 3-foot tall little like rabbit
Koala?
man? Absolutely. Koala man? You're in, dude. You got
Koala
this.
man.
You want to be a little owl man?
Chlamydia.
You want to be a little owl man? Sick. No problem. This all falls under the animal folk race. And since bonuses don't come from the race anymore, that would be extraordinarily easy. And, you know, they could categorize if they really wanted to like make them unique, because there is still like a sense that every race has to have like at least something. You could be like, all right, generally speaking, animals that have claws, they get a claw attack or a bite attack. Animals that that are fast get a fast, and you categorize all the fast animals, and you categorize all the animals with wings, and you categorize all the animals with big scary claws and teeth, and then they get bonuses on that.
The one sort of problem I have with this change is that I will miss the special features of backgrounds that they have now. Like the if you're a thief or a criminal, you can find the criminal element in any city, that sort of thing.
They're not. Are they completely getting rid of that though? I mean,
well, they're not in any of the suggestions that they have, and you can't
Sure.
really make them if you're customizing your, because they don't have suggestions for how to do that. That's the only thing, which isn't a big thing.
Yeah,
but it's just I liked it. I liked the flavor of it.
So here's the thing on that, I think, which is, if that's what you're missing, I think that's super easy to pitch to your DM. It's not like out of this world. You know what I mean? Hey, remember that cool thing from this? I'd like to do that with this background. And it's
Sure,
not so insane. It's not such a stretch. Whereas like some requests are like, oh, so you're gonna ask for that? You know how dumb that sounds, right? Or that sounds OP. That sounds dumb. But asking for something like that is not that big a deal. And I don't think there even really was a ton of that, was there?
Every background had one.
Did it?
Yeah. Not all of them were like really good, but some of them were interesting. Like the urchin one, where you can, if you're like running through a city, you can do it twice as fast as a normal person because you like grew up there and in the streets.
Okay.
It's nothing that's really game breaking, but it's like a cool thing. Like sailors, you can get free transport on a ship as long as you like help out on the ship.
That's fine. Some of them didn't make any sense at all. The urchin thing, I gotta tell you, I've been to a lot of cities, but I don't show up in a city and instantly know where the coffee shop is. You know what I mean? I gotta look that up. I only know where the coffee shop is in the city that I was an urchin in, not all the other ones. So that I'm fine with that one going away. and some of the other ones too, where it's like there's one where folk hero, you can always find people that love you. But by definition, a folk hero is kind of like a hero in like a specific setting.
A localized thing, yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna go across the continent and billion
from that one kind of village.
Oh, you're the hero from Bing Bongleton over there, aren't you? You could stay in my house. No, that's not how it works. They're going to be like, who are you? I don't care. Oh, you saved him from some wolves? Whatever, dude. We got our own problems. Our hero is that guy over there. And he's standing in the background like, hey. And they're like, we'll let him stay in our house anytime. Yeah.
So yeah, I understand that. But I think maybe that part of that is just because, like, when you're making a character, you're not necessarily going to know the setting that you're going to play in, and so it's just like, well, if you're going to be in, a
I guess
city,
think about it like
go.
this: if you're a thief and you know where to find them criminals, how does that work in game? You just go, "Hey DM, I find some criminals," and the DM goes, "All right, here's some criminals." But in reality, how does that play out in game? That plays out like this: I'm going to go to the seediest part of town. Okay, I'm just going to start asking people where criminals are.
I
So you
feel
walk
like
up.
you're missing something there. I feel like that's
I'm not.
closer to the truth than many of the other features.
You think
If
if I was
for
you think
instance, if you were a criminal, like
most thieves in
peddling
D&D
something illegal,
most thieves in
you're going to
D&D,
know how those things are done and what sort of environments you're looking for.
but like it's not the way it is now, right? Not every city is interconnected by a massive communication system. Every city could have
No,
its
I'm
own
not saying they
unique
are. I'm
like
just saying,
ins
like,
and outs. I
in
actually, you know what? I've talked myself into not liking these in this moment. I have talked myself into not liking these. I'm trying to imagine a world where, like, 10 miles up the road at the capital city that you didn't grow up in, they don't have any fucking clue what's going on where you are, right?
Mhm.
So even if most thieves in D&D are also kind of petty thieves. Very rarely are you making a background where you're like the world's most badass thief that steals from the museum and shit like that. You're not putting lemon juice on the Constitution so that you can like find the treasure. You know what I mean?
Hey man, you don't know. We
You
could
don't
run
know.
a campaign
You
just
could.
like that.
You could. But most of the time, what you're doing is you're pickpocketing and stuff like that, and you're fencing things. You're selling things on a black market. But every city, ostensibly, in a world where communication is not widespread, those things are underground and hard to find for a reason. And like maybe the thieves can't thing kind of like gives it out where you're like walking along and you're like, there's the symbol. That means they take sketchy shit. But other than that, the act of finding out how it works in every unique city would be what I just described. Hey, sketchy looking dude, where's the sketchiest place in town? And he goes, well, old Jimbo's back alley hand job joint is the sketchiest place in town. And you go in there and you're like, so, where do I sell this stolen stuff? And you just gotta like what? Talk to a bunch of people until they're like, oh yeah, totally. Go out back. Bob buys all the stolen stuff and sells it at his store at an upfront cost. I I'm talking myself into not liking any of these.
I feel like you're overlooking a bit, but that's fine. What do we got next? The spells.
I
How do you feel about the spells?
I want to add one more thing to the last thing. Being
Okay.
able to customize my entire background for me supersedes the individual like minute uniqueness of the backgrounds that are out now. That's the last thing I want to say.
Yeah, I like it. Everything except for I would like just like maybe a bank of those features that you can
Yeah.
tack on.
Okay. That's a good way to do it. A chart where you can pick one unique feature to go with it.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Sure. Like each one has 5 abilities that you could pick from. And if you're customizing your own background, you can pick from whatever.
I like that better.
All right. Anyway, spells. Let's talk about
So
spells.
they've separated these into, what is it, arcane, divine, and primal?
Primal. Yeah, primal.
Which at first glance I was like, oh, that's so cool. They're finally going to start doing this, and like they're going to have a different feel. And I looked through the spell lists, and like there's the same spell on multiple lists. And I was like, well, that's why did we
So
separate them?
it suffers the same problem as spells now. If I had a gripe with 5e, and maybe this is like an unsolvable problem, but I don't feel like it is. I feel like you can just write new unique spells. But oh god. Nothing feels that unique in spellcasting. Having played everything now, other than like a warlock is kind of unique in spellcasting, but everything else is just like a variation of a wizard. What's a bard? He's a wizard with an instrument. What's a sorcerer? He's a wizard without a book. Yeah, they cast spells slightly different, but most of the spells overlap, and the ones that don't are kind of like not that good.
Yeah, I wish that you could get the feel, like the difference in feeling from a wizard and a cleric. I wish you could get that feeling when you're going from a wizard to a sorcerer.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel that way.
No,
A
and
sorcerer
clerics and
just
druids are also very similar.
a sorcerer feels like meta magic's kind of cool, but it's just a simplified wizard. It's a wizard with less spells.
Yeah.
It's a
Honestly,
wizard
I don't really care if the spells do the same thing, but I wish that they would add more
variations.
spells that maybe it's just a different name. So it's like druids cast instead of firebolt, like I don't know, like poison bolt or something. I don't know. something that's like only druids cast this and only wizards cast this and only sorcerers cast this kind of stuff.
And even if they're
Maybe sorcerer and wizard would cross over because
yeah,
they're pretty
even if
similar,
they're
but
mechanically similar,
yeah.
Yes,
just
I would also appreciate that if they would it could just be a reskin, a completely reskin. Like you
Reskin.
read over it and like, oh, this
Reskin.
is the same thing. That would be fine.
And even at the bottom, if they said, now we know this is a poison bolt and that we described it like this, but it could easily be anything you want it to be within reason. Does the same damage but looks different. Does the same damage but does a different damage type or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of did that in Tasha's, but it's not. It's one of those rules where you have to go digging for it. The player's handbook needs to be, they either need to uniqueify these spells hardcore or they need to write out explicit rules on spell customization that goes in the player's handbook and stays in the player's handbook and is not buried in Tasha's. Because, I mean, like, Tasha's, okay, Spelljammer just came out and I was, let's say disappointed was the word. And I thought, the more I've thought about it since we recorded that episode, it was like, am I disappointed with Spelljammer because it was bad? Or am I disappointed with the last like five ebooks because they all only had 2 things that were interesting and everything else kind of stayed the same? There's like a stagnation happening where I like that they're freeing it up, but they honestly needed to do this 2 years ago. We're at the tail end of this thing. It feels like mechanically, and I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired.
Yeah,
Like,
I really want them to make spells different. Like having Fireball be like for a different class. Maybe it's like a frozen orb. Like it does maybe 1 or 2 d6 less, but it slows also.
Yeah,
Or
totally.
Or a poison explosion instead of fireball. It does a little bit less damage maybe, but anything that hits it has a chance to be poisoned.
Be poisoned for so 1d4 rounds or for so many rounds or for so many minutes. And you know, another thing that I think could like go a long way to help casting feel better is those times when you optimize the game, honestly optimize the game for level 10 and below. Okay? Most campaigns don't make it to level 10, but when they do, it's exciting. And all damaging spells past Fireball, sans Wish, are not worth it.
Yeah,
Flat ass.
They need more.
Not worth it, my guy. Because every time I ran a fire only caster, the only themed caster you could kind of run, rules as written, where there's enough fire spells to like make this work, right? And every time it was like, sick. I'm getting 7th level spells. Let's see what they got, boy. And it would be like, there's the fire spell, baby. Let me read that. And you're reading it and you're like, hell yeah, that sounds dope. That sounds sick. And you're like, oh, that damage. Ooh, baby, look at that damage. And then you go, oh, but if I just cast Fireball at this level, it's better. And it doesn't have any of the drawbacks. Like, one of them is like, oh, yeah, that does pretty good damage. Ooh, covers a bigger area, but the wind can blow it away. And you're like, oh, yeah, man, I can't wait to spend an 8th level spell slot on that. It's going to be sick. When I could just go, Can I hit one less guy and hit them for more damage? Yes. Pow! Shoot it at them. You know what I mean?
It might help if they made it to where damaging spells don't get more damage by a higher level.
I don't want to take that away. I think upcasting is a fantastic mechanic that they should absolutely keep in. But just make higher level spells worth it. By the time you're that level, by the time you're casting 8th, 9th level spells, the damage can be off the charts because everything you're fighting has tons of health. And besides, it's not like you get 10 8th level spell slots. You're not going to be chucking these things out all willy-nilly all the time. Oh yeah, after that wish, I'm going to throw out 3 firestorms. You know what I mean? You're not doing that. You're going, should I use that 8th level spell slot right now? Because we might be fighting, Giga Earth Destroyer in like next week's session. Am I going to get a rest before that? I don't know. Do I need to save this? Are these enemies worth that spell slot? That's a balance that you have to strike. And sometimes like the option of being able to go fireball. Oh, I need to damage that thing? Oh, okay. Fireball. And that's it. That's the only decision you have to make. Is Dex the most common save in the game? Yes. Do a lot of creature have high Dex? Yes. But honestly, the half damage is better than some spells full damage, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is something that I wish would be fixed. Like
variances in how the spells look and feel, that's flavor and that's great. And I would love to see more of that. But straight up damage wise, just make damaging spells better. Make them do more damage, make them more interesting.
Make
if they
them
don't
have
do more
status effects or
if
something.
they don't, if they don't do more damage, make them do something else that's worth it. Because you want to know
extra good.
That's good. Because you want to know something. If I'm casting an 8th level spell, I couldn't give a fuck less if whatever the fire spell at 8th level is, if it does on average 2 more damage than a level 8 fireball. Or sorry. What I meant to say is if it slows them, but a fireball does 30 more damage, I don't give a shit about slowing them. If I'm a damage class, I'm going to throw a fireball because it's just that much better.
Yep.
A slow for what? 2 rounds? What are you going to do? Walk at me a little slower? Yeah. Okay. Great. Whatever. By that level, I can fly or some dumb crap anyways.
I also want there to just be more spells at the high levels.
Yeah.
Like when we were playing the campaign when we got to level 20, I'm like, oh, 8th level spells. What do we got?
9th
there's
level
like
spells.
5 things.
Yeah, 9th level spells. And then you get to 9th level spells and you're like, ooh, that's sick. Oh, wow, that spell sounds really powerful. Oh wait, wish.
Why would I take anything?
Why would I pick anything other than wish? If you're going for optimization, there's literally no point in picking another spell besides wish.
I think what they need to do to wish is make it have a more severe potential drawback. Because there is literally no reason to take anything but wish.
They need to make it to where every single max level caster can cast wish. I think that's a solution. Why don't you like that? Because
I think wish should just be taken out of the game.
Wish is so powerful that it's like
it's a dumb spell.
Yeah, it's.
I wish that all my friends were back alive. Oh, okay, so nothing matters. Awesome. We got the Dragon Balls.
We got the Dragon Balls. Yeah, guys, someone died. Get the Dragon Balls together.
Yeah, it's just like,
wish. Maybe wish needs to be divine intervention. You know what I mean?
Or just make it like you can cast wish once.
Or
you get one time.
3 times. Like a certain amount of a slow amount of times that you can ever cast it. I like that.
I don't mind it having lower, like a lower thing that it can do where it doesn't affect you. I think that's fine. But like flavor it different for every class. Make it to where each class has a unique version of wish that is different. Like clerics are specifically calling on their god for a favor, therefore it does a little more. Or, huh?
So I mean, they do have that. Yes,
I know, but I know. But let's say that for that sake, or like a wizard cast wish, and it's more about using arcane power to bend reality in a specific way, but not anything extreme. You can't wish for anything. It's within bounds of the class that you're playing. A
I
druid
mean,
could cast a version of wish that works really well for specific things pertaining to the class. Or, like we said, just get rid of wish or give everyone wish, because there's no
Or
point in taking any other spell.
you can make it to where you have to make a roll to see if your wish is successful.
Yeah, it doesn't damage you, but there's a high percentage chance it doesn't do
That it
anything.
fails and nothing happens and you waste your 9th level spell for the day.
Be like a save or suck spell.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea that you would take wish and have it be. I mean, I like some aspects of it the way it is, in that you have to be like specific with your wording and indicating that this spell is so like
Nebulous.
yeah, it's just it has to be so specific. Only the top of the top casters can master this spell.
I don't
'Cause you
like
have
the
to be-
limitation.
You have to understand like
Yeah,
all these
mhm.
different things about the nature of the spell in order to make it work the way you want it to work.
Yeah.
So if
It-
you say something ambiguous, your DM can be like, "I gotcha."
yeah.
I like that part of it,
It's too easy.
but I don't like the part of it like, well, there's no consequence for just any other spell you want to use it as wish.
Yeah, and I don't want I also don't like the take wish out of the game. I don't like limiting the amount of times you could use wish. If you said wish could only be cast 2 times in your lifetime, then it's not ever worth taking at that point.
I guess
It's a balancing act.
I think that the way
You can
I would
change your
like it to
spells
be done-
out.
Huh?
You can change your spells out.
I know, but like don't put that kind of limitation on it. Just balance it.
I think that the way I like the way it is, with the exception of there's no consequence to just casting any other spell with it, or the
Yeah.
the effects that are just like the 3 or 4 effects that are described within it.
Yeah.
If you had to make a roll every time you cast it, and maybe that's the last time you can cast it, no matter what you cast it for, I like that.
That's man.
That's the
that
way
would
it
be-
is right
that would be
now, with the
brutal.
exception of, yeah. But I like that. That's like
Yeah.
that makes it, that balances it. If you take it away, you can cast any other spell with it. Yes, I'd say yeah, you can do that, but you still have to make the roll.
They need to add a line for simulacrum in there. Your simulacrum cannot cast wish. Because as it is, all of this is circumvented by
Yeah.
my simulacrum wishes for the bad guy to die. And he's like, okay, we'll roll to see if it happens. And the fail, and the simulacrum's like, no, I can never cast wish. And you're like, whatever, peasant. You push him over. I don't care. Ha ha. I make another one.
But yeah, anyway, that's probably enough talking about something that's not even really in this.
Yeah, sorry. We got off track.
You know what I
Spells,
love
though, in
Which
seeing
is
general.
them
very
do
dividing.
with spells.
Huh?
I wish
Yeah.
that they would work up and change up cantrips.
That too.
I would love
Yeah.
to see more buffing cantrips for cleric classes and bards. Clerics,
Utility-
you
utility
get
cantrips.
resistance and guidance and spare the dying. Those are like,
Well, I mean, there are plenty of cantrips you get that do damage, that do scale.
yeah, I get the damage. I'm just talking like, I want to be a support character. I would love to have more cantrips to, maybe I can cast haste on one guy. He gets a turn of haste.
1 turn of haste.
1 turn of haste.
I get why they don't want to put
The
any
drawback
healing.
is like his next turn he'll have the disadvantages from being worn out from the haste, but you can cast haste
Yeah.
on your party members and they'll get a buff on their turn, or
Like a lower version.
I would really love to see a cantrip heal that maybe it does only heals for like 1 point or 2 points, but
like a good berry.
it can get your buddies back up in a fight if you're out of spells.
That would be a fun, like a cleric subclass. Like you get these extra cool spells, but you just can't take any damaging spells.
Yeah.
But you get like this 1 heal cantrip, 1 point heal cantrip.
Yeah.
That would be
I
cool.
just-
I'd like that.
Because
I
a
think
general
it would change combat up a lot too, because if you're fighting enemies, they're gonna see that they're gonna have to go after this cleric who's staying out of the fight because he just keeps popping his buddies back up.
Yeah.
there should also maybe be I think the problem with a heal cantrip is like the abuse that is
Yeah,
possible with a
it's-
heal cantrip.
You'd have to limit it in some fashion. Like
You can only
You'd have
pick
to,
your
like,
friends
you
up
could-
so many times.
or like you just like you start to get points of exhaustion the more you cast it. So like
Yeah,
you couldn't
maybe.
sit there after a fight and just go heal 1 point, heal 1 point, heal 1 point, heal
Over
1
until
point.
they're
Like
full. Yeah.
you can't do that.
I put my hand on you and I cast Healing Whisper 37 times until you're at max health. They need to hire me for
It'd
these
have to
spell
be
names.
some kind of limitation to it. But
Maybe
I do
like
like the
after
idea.
casting 5 times, you have to. It's if you cast it again within an hour, you take a point of exhaustion or something.
Yeah. These are all
Um,
fantastic.
I did want
I'm
to talk
loving this
about
discussion about spells.
As far as the spells goes, I think we
kind
most
of nailed it. Yeah.
I really, really want them to have different like specific spells for specific classes.
Yeah,
I think that would just be
let's break
tops.
everything down. More better utility cantrips, more unique spells, make higher level damaging spells worth casting over a fireball. Those are my 3 wishes.
Those are the big ones.
Jeremy Crawford, I know you listen to this podcast. No. You're listening for my amazing ideas, I know, but
I did want to come back to the level 1 feats.
level 1 feats, okay.
So I think that if they go with it as they have it here, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more people with Lucky. Because if everyone gets a level 1 feat and Lucky is on that list.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that. Lucky was one of them, and I was like, God dang, why would they not take
They
Lucky?
did change Lucky a little bit, which the way it reads now could be a nerf. So now it doesn't say you roll another die. It says you get advantage, or the person attacking you gets disadvantage.
Okay.
Which, if you read it that way, it could mean that if you already had advantage, you can't use luck. Or if the person rolling against you had advantage and you're like, no, Lucky. Like, well, how would you resolve that?
If you Lucky and they have advantage and you give them disadvantage, they have a straight roll. That's how you resolve that, baby.
You re-roll it?
You don't do it afterwards. You say it before, right?
No, it's after the roll, but it's after the roll, but before the consequences of the roll.
Okay, they re-roll as 1 dice. It balances out.
So what if they already had advantage on the roll or disadvantage on the roll?
And they still hit you?
Yeah.
They roll again with disadvantage.
Roll 2 19s.
They roll 2 19s on disadvantage. Luckiest man alive.
But the way this reads, you impose disadvantage on that roll, which they already had. So nothing would happen.
I would say in that instance, they re-roll the disadvantage. If they have regular and they hit you, they roll it
that's
disadvantage.
That's already Lucky. That's how it's how it's worded already. They just
yeah. Yeah, I know.
So they changed this, I feel like, specifically to to do what I'm talking about here. So if something already has advantage, you can't use Lucky on it. Or if it already has disadvantage, you can't use Lucky on it.
Or maybe they should just not make Lucky a level 1 feat.
That sounds fine.
Lucky is not something you should be able to take at level 1.
Although it's like Lucky seems like a feat that you would have at level 1. And as from a role-playing standpoint, like I'm just lucky, as opposed to like Polearm Master, level 1. I know how to use polearms like a master.
Yeah. I'm a freak of polearm.
Get out of here.
That could be explained away, though, right? I've trained my whole life with polearms, but I've never
only trained them. Yeah, I've never fought.
Yeah. So you're like a freak.
I was a young babe.
You can flip this polearm like a master and do flips with it and all this crazy shit and hit with the bottom twice in a round, but you never fought people. You ever fought like sparring partners?
You've never been hit by another weapon
with a blade. Yeah, it's all like foam. You've been training with foam halberds the whole time, dude.
That's what D&D has, foam halberds.
Oh, sorry, straw wrapped in leather halberds with like a piece of bamboo in the middle, so you can like thud people with it.
How do you feel about they talked about a couple conditions, the grappled condition?
Yes, I saw the grappled stuff. Yeah.
Your speed is 0. You have disadvantage on attack rolls against any other target than the grappler. I do think that's cool.
Yep.
That's fine.
You're movable, but the grapple suffers the new slowed condition. which not only actually slows you, but you have like things have advantage on when they're hitting you.
I think grapple was extremely underwhelming in 5e. So, sure.
You say that, but
Yes,
you
sir.
caught a dragon out of the air.
That was
So-
just.
That was just
That was
That's
pure.
what you
that
were
was just
saying.
the coolest thing ever. That's all.
It was rad, but it was pure luck, also, right? Like
You say
how
that, but
grapple
you've
works.
literally grappled everything we fought. You grappled a god.
I grappled God
like twice.
I'm also.
You did
I'm
it
also
twice.
I'm also like freakishly strong in that campaign.
It's
So
still
you could still do that with the new grapple rules. What are you getting on about here, boy? I'm grappling someone. I'm wasting
I'm
my
just saying you're like grapple's underwhelming.
What most of the
yet
time-
I can grab everything.
Let's say this. Let's say this. If I couldn't get big and we didn't have that special roll where I could pin without disadvantage if I was one size larger, like we have in that campaign, I would never pin anyone.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I would never, ever, ever pin anyone. Because what? I take the grappler feat so I can pin them so I can do nothing? Wow. That sounds like a ton of fun, Wizards of the Coast. Sick mechanic. I love being able to not do anything. Have you ever seen someone grapple someone? Even if you got them in the most sick lock ever, you could still go whack, 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 whack. And just hit them in the head, you know? Like, I don't like that. I don't like anything about that. The being able to where is it? What page is it on? So I can get a refresh right now. Are you looking at it?
Page 19. This is what
Oh, is it 19 as well?
Yeah.
Grappled. Speed 0. Speed 0 can't change. Attacks effective. Disadvantage attack rolls against others. Blah, blah, blah. Other than the grapple. Great. Movable. The grappler can drag or carry you, but the grappler stuff. Okay, that's like what it is now, right? That's not like a ton different.
Except that they had the slowed condition is a thing now. Which
Yeah. Escape. While grappled, you can make a dexterity strength. Okay, that's pretty normal. In a turn, can addition on yourself. So also ends the grapplers and can contest it. Or something with just a grappler's range without using your speed. Okay, so you could be separated by like a teleport or whatever.
Yeah,
or
it's the same as grappled already was.
Yeah.
Pretty much, except for the disadvantage on attacks against anything other than the grappler and the slowed condition for the grappler.
I like that
because the slowed condition is new.
Yeah, the slowed condition's new, but not like radically different than how it works now. I do like you have disadvantage on stuff other than the grappler, because there've been plenty of times where I'm like, I'm literally pinning this guy to the ground with my entire body, and they're just hitting the guy next to me, no problem. Sure, sure, yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, inspiration. Do you like how they changed inspiration?
Yeah, sure. Any change to inspiration was good, because I don't know anyone who used inspiration in 5e.
It's very.
It's on
very
the character sheet. On the character sheet, never once in the whole time I've been playing 5e has a DM been like, "That's worth an inspiration die, my guy." Now, either I'm the shittiest player ever, or it just is something that no one cares about.
Hey, I tell you what, we should get some inspiration dice on Friday. Me and Isaac, we're role playing the hell out of it.
Give me an inspiration.
The inspiration, the reason that I was not fond of it is because A, it's like it sort of plays favorites a little bit, and B, it's also kind of tough to balance around.
Is it?
Well, it's just like, I get advantage out of nowhere. What? Why?
I feel like it's just
inspiration.
It's just underwhelming.
But I do like the fact that now it's you can get it anytime you roll a natural 20, you get an inspiration point.
Yeah.
You can have a maximum of 1 inspiration point. If you take a long rest without using that inspiration point, it's gone.
Sure. I like everything about that. Yep. I think that's great. Yep. That's great. Any change was good. Those were good changes. I think it just went unused because it was so situational. Most people forgot about it. And like, what do you do? Yeah, someone's gonna feel like you're gonna feel like a dickhead of a DM if like one of your players is really like going for it 100% of the time. Everyone else having a good time, but maybe they're not like hitting it as hard as this guy.
Yeah.
You can't be handing this guy out freaking inspiration die every freaking time.
Yeah.
Dang, dude, that was sick. How about an inspiration die? And like your quiet guy sitting in the corner like, I did something cool today too.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you did, but it wasn't that cool. It wasn't inspiration cool. You know what I'm saying? Dog, you need to step up your game. But like, you sound like a dickhead when you say that. You can't be
I was
doing that.
not inspired, sir.
I was not
Step
inspired
away.
by your action. You should have given me an inspiration point for that dragon grapple. Anyways,
But I think that's
pretty much it.
pretty much the end of the
I think
document.
we hit it.
Yep. Which most of the changes I like. We talked about the ones that I don't, and the ones that you guys don't.
Yep.
The yeah, I think that's it. I really like the direction that they went, separating spells into different trees, and then I looked at the trees. That's probably the most disappointing part of this.
More
seeing,
granularity.
oh, they're separating the spells, and you look down, and like, oh, there's the same spells in like all three of them.
Yeah, I know. It's about just like generalizing everything. It's about letting the player have more freedom, I guess. I don't know.
And I think that they're still, it doesn't say anywhere, but I think that they're still going to have like specific like spell lists for different classes.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes I think.
And why are they even separating it?
Yeah, that was my question. It's like,
okay. Well,
I like the fact that if they're separating it just for flavor, so that you know, like, oh, this is an arcane, so it's going to look a little different.
And
it's okay for this spell to look different because it's in multiple spell trees. It's okay for it to look different coming from different classes. That's cool, I guess.
That's fine.
But I don't know if it was really worth separating everything out.
We can do a whole episode on spells, probably.
Yeah.
Like spells and customizing spells and how that should kind of work. But I think otherwise we've kind of said everything we're going to say. This should be the second episode on a new schedule, Fridays now instead of Mondays. I'm going to try that for a little while. We'll see how it goes. If it turns out that it is too much for me to get done before Friday every week, then we'll switch back to Monday. But I've had a couple of requests for Friday, so we're going to try Friday out for a little while.
Friday.
So, the first Friday episode is coming out this week since Monday was a holiday. Well, Monday was Labor Day. So this is coming out in 2 weeks. So this is the first time I've ever had two in the bank.
Yeah, so the one that we recorded last time has not come out
this
yet.
Friday. It has not come out yet.
We're talking about this from the future.
We're from the future. We're in the future, baby. Future. Actually,
that episode last week, that was the first one to come out on a Friday. Did you know that?
Did you know that? Let me give you a little insight into the real reason it's switching to Friday this week and not later on. Monday was a holiday, and I usually do most of the editing and video stuff on Monday because I that's my day where I have a lot of free time to do that kind of stuff, and I didn't. And so, what a great week to make it Friday. It's like a double whammy. It's a holiday. I wasn't gonna listen to it anyways. I didn't want to do it.
Friday to do it.
No, I've already started. It's a ton of work. Actually, this one's like a big, huge pain in the ass because I said I put pictures of the spaceships in there, and I had to download a bunch of pictures of the spaceships. And then what? Spelljammer disappointed me again because they didn't put the pictures on the online PDF. They only did like they didn't have all of them. What the fuck? Why'd you do that, Wizards of the Coast? Why do you hate me so much?
The online PDFs don't have all the ships?
No, they do not. The Flying Fish ship does not have a picture of the ship. Neither does the Hammerhead ship. Only layouts, no pictures of the ship, and no artwork. So you know what I had to do? I had to go take pictures of it with my phone, and I'm going to have to go in, and I'm going to have to comp all these pictures together, and I'm going to have to comp, even the ones I got from the website, I'm going to have to take that picture, crop it, put it on, like bring the layout in, crop that, make sure it fits in a 1920 by 1080 frame, fade it into the video, blah, blah, blah.
Wait a minute.
Deal.
What? You got pictures of a flying fish ship?
Yeah, I got pictures of flying fish ships and the hammer.
Pictures of flying fish
I know that's what I'm saying. And the hammerhead ship. There's a picture.
Well,
I
didn't know what I was missing until you told me.
Yeah, I was like, oh sweet, I'll just pull up the PDF since it's shared to me, and I'll just grab all the pictures off of there and crop them, no problem. And then I was like, there's only a layout for the ship. Why is there only a layout? There's artwork in the book. It's only two, I think. I think it's the flying fish ship.
Damn it.
The Flying Fish ship and the Hammerhead ship both have artwork in the book that are not available on the PDF for some reason. Maybe they didn't buy the rights from the artist to do a digital distribution. I don't know. Let me know. Speculate in the comments why they didn't include all the art in the PDF. Lead dickheads. Making my life harder. That's why they did it. Shit.
Yeah, they're like, we could put him in here, but I bet that Eric guy's gonna talk about him, and I bet he's gonna want to put pictures up too.
Yeah, he's gonna put pictures up there too. I bet she's gonna make an offhanded comment about putting pictures up. Anyways, no, I do love editing. I've had a lot of fun editing and stuff, and learning video editing software has been pretty fun. But anyways, we're on a wicked tangent. This is the end of the episode. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.